everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are we all doing across the world watching today? Welcome to another episode of the Rovers Bulletin, giving you the latest news and updates and discussion points around Doncaster Rovers. A couple of stories to kind of bring you today. Jay McGrath is itching to get involved and itching to come up against League One forwards. We'll talk more about him and his contributions potentially next season. We'll also talk about Harry Clifton, who says he's made no regrets of leaving Grimsby Town for Doncaster Rovers following promotion. Make sure you're new around. If you're new around here, make sure you do like the video if you've loved it. Make sure you comment down your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. Let's get straight into this one. So we're going to start with the Jay McGrath story. And we're going to talk a bit about this one. So the defender is eagerly anticipating the challenges of League One football next season following a successful campaign, making 40 appearances, playing a pivotal role in securing the title. He's apparently enthusiastic about testing himself against higher tier forwards. He said, "I'm buzzing," highlighting his excitement about facing teams like Cardiff City, Luton Town, Barnsley and Rotherham United. He emphasised the team's blend of youthful talent and experienced players, stating, "We've got massively talented young players, and then there's the senior heads in the dressing room, which makes it the perfect mix." He believes the combination positions Doncaster Rovers well for a competitive return to League One. And the manager shares this perspective as well, saying we'll be strong, competitive, indicating a potential push, an intent to push for further success next season. So I think we know already that Jay McGrath is going to be absolutely crucial to next season. He's going to be a crucial piece of next season. We know what Jay McGrath is like as a defender. We know what he's capable of as a defender. He's strong, he's agile, gets in the air well, no nonsense, does a bit of an all-round capability in terms of good ball-playing ability, good in the air, good no nonsense, covers his ground well. And we've seen him operate as the kind of all-rounder, can kind of do all duties. He can operate as a traditional centre-back, but also do the modern ball-playing duties of a defender nowadays. So Jay McGrath, for me, is kind of the perfect all-rounder, if you know what I mean. I would say that, for me, I would say that McGrath is absolutely pivotal to next season, but as I've said in the previous video, the centre-back position is vital in the window. It's absolutely vital. We've got to get that area spot on because we've experienced bad defenders in the past. People like, or players who say performances like the performances of Roshon Williams, players like that. Obviously, I think the first kind of good centre-back we brought in as new players was Joseph Olowu, who came good in the end. And obviously he's going to now move on to bigger and better things. You know, we've dealt with other players. Ben Blythe, we dealt with him a few times. So there's been performances and players that haven't quite met the standard of what we needed. And that could come down to many different things. It could be a performance thing, could be a mentality thing. Because there were times that Roshon Williams could be a good player. We just didn't see it enough. Ben Blythe, young player, could have been good. Didn't see it enough, didn't get the game time. So I think centre-back's got to be spot on. We've got to bring in the right personalities, have the right experience, and also have a plan behind the experience. And I've said this all along since the start of the window. I would like to see one or two experienced defenders and that young succession plan signing, someone who's young, who's long-term. You could look at people like Isaac Lee from Flint Town United, a young 20-year-old with a lot of potential. We could end up seeing Bobby Faulkner on a brand new contract, but again, is he going to get much game time? Does he want to stay here for more game time? What does he fancy? Challenged himself around National League level like Scunthorpe, Brackley Town, that kind of club. You know, you've got Will Flint, who's for the future. We know for a fact he's the future. We know exactly what he's capable of, even at 18 years old. Darlington fans rated him on loan very highly, can operate as defensive midfielder as well. Casper Williams, obviously he's another young kid, 17, 18. He might go on another youth loan at some point this season, in the next season, but again, he's got the potential. We saw it off the bench against Everton. He was brilliant. So we've got ideal succession plan players in Flint and Williams. You maybe need that one more, whether that's Faulkner or somewhere else, or someone else. So I think the main bulk of defenders we sign this summer will be experienced ones or levels of experience. They won't be 35 years old or anything like that, but I'd say the maximum age we go for is a 30-year-old, or 29, 30-year-old maybe. And then the minimum age for an experienced player is a 23, 24, because you can get levels of experience even at that age. So I think that's the kind of, I think 23 to 30 is kind of where we're looking for in terms of experienced defenders and who we're looking for signing-wise. So I would say that centre-back is a massive priority this summer for many different reasons. And I think McGrath, I love the fact that he's up for it. I love the fact that he's fired up for it as well. I think that, McGrath will want to test himself against those players. I mean, there's so many strikers in League One next season that could be on fire next season. And we know who they are. You guys know who they are. You're talking about the teams that are coming down that want to prove a point. Andy Cook coming back from injury for Bradford, he'll want to prove a point. Other players that will be signed into these clubs in League One next season are going to want to prove a point. Rob Street, we're going to revisit Rob Street when we come up against Lincoln City probably. So there's plenty of options for any of these teams, and McGrath will test that ability. And we do think there is a player in there in McGrath. We do think there's high potential in him, and we know for a fact he's itching to get going against these higher division players. So it's a big season for Jay. It's a massive season for Jay, personally and professionally. And he will want to get the ball rolling as soon as possible. And as fans, we've just got to back him because we know what he's capable of. Let's go into our second and last story then. Talk about Harry Clifton, who's expressed confidence that his move from Grimsby Town to Rovers has been vindicated following the successful season and winning the title. In an interview with the Yorkshire Post, he acknowledged the difficulty of leaving his hometown club, stated it was a massive decision, but I'm the sort of person who would rather do something and commit to something rather than sit and wonder what if. That's the right character I want in this football club. That's the kind of quality we need in this football club. And there's been games where he's fallen off a bit, but for the majority of the season, I think he's been good. I think he's been a good player this season. And his transition to Doncaster Rovers, as said, has been marked by the determination to embrace new challenges and grow both professionally and personally, emphasising the importance of stepping out of his comfort zone. And I love the fact we're bringing players in that want to step out of their comfort zone, get into a new environment, and try their luck. And now Clifton is playing in a higher division than Grimsby Town. So it was the right decision. It was the right move. And even though he's faced backlash from Grimsby supporters during the match against them at home, where he was jeered, he remains focused on his performances and contribution to his new team. He admitted the reaction hurt a little bit, but understood it's part of the game, adding, everyone has an opinion and they're entitled to that opinion. That's what I love about a footballer. They don't get soaked into opinions. They don't feel threatened by opinions or anything like that. As long as it don't cross a personal line, everyone's entitled to their opinion, whether they're right or wrong. Football's all about opinions. People disagree with me about 80% of the time, but they never take it to a personal level. There's one or two that do, and let's be honest here, and people may know about this, people may not know about this. When that one individual takes it personal and takes cheap shots, most of the people who disagree with me jump to my defence and say, that's not right, you're in the wrong, don't do that, scumbag, whatever. So football's about opinions, unless you don't step over that personal line, you're entitled to your opinion. And whether people respect that or not, it is your opinion, you stick by it. And I love that mentality from Clifton that everyone's got an opinion, they're entitled to it. It hurt a little bit, but as he said, it's understood as part of the game. It's part of football. So I love that mentality from Harry Clifton. And I do think Clifton will become a massive part of next season. I think there's no doubt about that. I think that when you're playing in that 4-2-3-1, as long as you've got that pace up front, as long as you've got that finishing quality up front, you sort of look at the way we look at a possession at times and think, right, in the 4-2-3-1, with Clifton as the 10, and let's be honest, I wasn't a massive fan of Clifton as the 10 to start off with. If people see me tweets, you know that. I weren't a massive fan of Clifton as a 10 to start off with. I think that I came out and said, look, for me, he's an 8. He operates the link between defence and attack. He's a box-to-box. But he slipped into that 10 role. And yeah, there has been games where he's drifted out. But Clifton in the 10, the best thing about Clifton in the 10 is if you've got a pacey striker that can hold the ball up as well in front of him, Clifton drifts behind the striker as almost like a 4-4-2 or an alternate 4-4-1-1 out of possession. it sort of out of possession at time. Sorry, in possession. Sorry, my apologies. I'm trying to get my words out. I think that when Clifton drops behind the striker in a sort of 4-4-1-1 when you're working up the ball and feed the striker as the attacking midfielder and get involved in the attack, I think that's what Clifton does best. And I think that's one of Clifton's better roles. So for me, I think that, again, Clifton, like McGrath, is another player that we can build around long term and someone who will get this side going. Sabara, I think, is long term. I think that he's behind Clifton at the minute, but I think long term he could be ahead of him, because obviously I think one thing Sabara has over him by a couple of years is age. And I would argue, in my personal opinion, I would argue that Sabara's a bit of a live wire, but I think Clifton has a bit more control. So if Sabara learns that bit more control off Clifton, you've got similar players there in some regard, but one's an attacking midfielder, one's been adapted as an attacking midfielder from a central. So I think Clifton's fired up, I think McGrath's fired up, I think all those lads that are staying are fired up, and it's going to be hopefully a really good campaign for the lads. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, hit notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. And for now, I'm the CHALL Terrell for now, and that is full-time Rovers Till We Die. Thank you very much.